Good morning. Thank you. Yeah, it's so good to be back. My name is Ben Robbins. I'm glad to be your minister. Yes, very glad to be back. Welcome to the UU community of Halifax. We offer a place where whatever is going on in your life or in the world, and there's still a lot going on in the world, you can come to reground yourself, reopen yourself, connect with, or search for what matters most. Today is our ingathering water ceremony. The original water ceremony was created by a group of women, activists who wanted to weave their lives together once a year, even though they were doing their work in separate cities. They knew who they were and they wanted to keep that thread going. And in the Friday email, we asked you to bring water for the ceremony. We also have extra up here. And those on Zoom, you can pour yourself a glass of water when you have a moment. And if you would like to receive the Friday email, you can email the office or tell me. Please see the announcements in the order of service and note that next Sunday from noon to 3 is our annual retreat right here. We will reflect on what this community means to us, what our strengths and opportunities are for the year. All are welcome and a simple lunch will be served. We also have a couple of announcements from Marilyn.
Ben has asked me to keep this brief. Faith and I have been working on the kitchen, and we have 2 or 3 things we would like to bring to your attention, and it will also go in the newsletter. But one of the biggest things that goes wrong is people put glasses with the mugs. Every cupboard in there has labels, and there's separate cupboards for glasses, please. And if any of you are the guilty person who has, in the past few days, brought in a massive blender and a couple of other things, or a box with a brand new Brita and 6 refills for it, please talk to me after, because we don't want anything that we haven't asked for, okay? The place is full, and if we need things, we'll ask. The other thing is, I am still recruiting for the high tea this Saturday, after which we will go to see the Downton Abbey movie, the grand finale. Thank you.
And thank you to our volunteers and staff who make our Sunday services possible. We have Riley Friesen on tech, Tristan Kellaway on keys. A special thank you today to our worship team and speakers for creating meaningful, transformative services this summer, so thank you. And we are inviting more participation in our services this year. So if you'd like to assist with services or say a reading or something else, please talk to me. And now we have Leslie Robinson with our land and climate acknowledgements.
Good morning, everybody. We acknowledge that we live on the traditional unceded land and waters of the Mi'kmaq people, whose footprints are everywhere. And for our climate acknowledgement this morning, I'd like to talk to you about a new article on the Climate Stories Atlantic. You can find this online, Climate Stories Atlantic. And this article I'm referring to was written by Sean Kelly. Here's heard some people saying things like this: it's just too late to stop climate change. We should focus instead on preparing for the worst. Sean agrees that the situation is indeed serious, but instead suggests we need to recognize those areas that we can take action on. And we've talked about various actions on Sunday mornings about reducing our carbon footprint. I don't need to repeat all those, I'm sure. But Sean goes on to point out that as we reduce our carbon footprint, we have to remember that these actions bring co-benefits, like lower energy bills, cleaner air, increased social interaction, better mental health, and better overall health as we walk much more. And all these things can lead to fewer hospital visits and lower costs for the government. Talking to people about these climate action co-benefits emphasizes the positive impacts beyond simply reducing our carbon footprint. And this can broaden the appeal of green actions, making them more attractive and hopefully politically feasible. One more action opportunity that you have in Halifax is to join in the global Draw the Line rally on Saturday, a week on Saturday, the 20th of September. It begins at noon. This is a chance to join ordinary people all around the world who are holding similar rallies to call for decisive action by our leaders in government and industry. So please mark the date and attend if you can. Thank you.
Alice lighting words are by Laura Horton Ludwig. Fire and water, ancient opposites, sun and ocean, the cradle of life. Dancing flame and dancing river, we invoke them together today as we kindle our chalice flame.
I'm 31 years old. I'm living at an artistic retreat center. So I'm exploring my artistic side and exploring community living. And sometimes you just want to curl up and watch a movie. So the retreat center has a selection of movies that's back in the day of VHS and DVDs. So I decided to watch The Phone Booth. Has anyone here seen Phone Booth? The whole movie is set in a phone booth. But the opening shot is in outer space. So they show the stars, they show a satellite zooming by, and then they zoom into the phone booth. And this reminds me of 2001: A Space Odyssey, except in reverse. In 2001: A Space Odyssey, the movie takes place in outer space, but the opening shot is zoomed right in on a little group of apes. So the opening shot balances the rest of the movie. So I try to think of other movies like that. I draw a scatter plot, plotting the scope of the opening shot versus the scope of the movie. And I end up with a beautiful curve. I might have selected data points accordingly. And before I know it, I've written a blog post about it, and now I have a blog. It is going to be a nerdy blog. Lots of x-axes and y-axes. And since I live at a dance retreat center, it's going to have beautiful curves, like the graceful arcs of birds dancing in the sky. I call the blog Quantitative Grace. I do it for a few months until the richness of community life draws my attention elsewhere. So this was 20 years ago. And then last year, again, I started a blog. I wanted a place where I could get really nerdy, more nerdy than I let myself get on Sunday mornings. But this time, the focus would be on the human condition, matters of the heart, matters of the spirit. But I decided to use the same name for the blog, Quantitative Grace. It takes a few months to hit my stride, but I found my stride while on study leave, so now I'm ready to announce this blog more broadly. I think that whatever happens in the world, that creative, nerdy part of me is going to come out. if I'm scrubbing dishes in a lumberjack camp, if I'm on the away team in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, if I'm hosting the neighborhood cornhole championships, whatever I'm doing, whatever adventure I go on, there is that thread that will run through it. So let's awaken whatever that is for you. Please rise, embody your spirit for our opening hymn. It's number 298 in the gray hymnal, 298, Wake Now My Senses. And the lyrics are going up on the screen.
It's now time for joys, sorrows, and complex truths. We bring our hearts into the sacred space of community and open them up to each other and for each other so that those of us who carry pain might be comforted by the presence of a loving community, so that those of us who are happy might share their joy and see it multiply in others, and so that those of us who carry complex truths might find a welcoming space to process the meaning-making in your life. This is our communal well. It holds all of our stories. The water can remind us of our connection to all of life and to the earth itself. If you have a joy, sorrow, or complex truth in your heart to speak into community, we invite you to share and to place a stone into the well. You can also place a stone in silence. If you're comfortable, please speak from near the well so that those on Zoom will be able to see you. And Ben's going to pass the microphone to anyone who would like.
Good morning. My name is Judy Benger, and I'm with the Unitarian Congregation in Mississauga, and it's a joy to be here as a visitor this morning.
Oh yeah, just like any of these stones here.
And Judy and I did a lay chaplain training together many years ago.
Yeah, Judy Johnson here. I just wanted to do an update. I've spoken often about my friend Mark McNeil in Cape Breton, and who's battling cancer. She was given 4 to 8 weeks, 4 to 12 weeks. Anyhow, she's blown past all that, and she's had a stint in hospital, and when she was there, they discovered the cancer has grown only a tiny bit. Now, she has a lot of friends who are nuns, so I don't know if she has a direct line or something, but she's doing pretty well.
This morning, I mourned the death of my niece, John's niece, actually, who just died of cancer. She's only 55.
We'll go Brian.
Thank you. Yesterday was a momentous day for me and some of my friends and acquaintances. In the afternoon, a friend who is a local artist, Jim McSwain, died in a maid ceremony, and there were he was someone I lived in a house with 50 years ago and hadn't stayed in close touch with since then, but it was really wonderful being in the house that we all lived in, and that some people still live in on Brunswick Street, a group of artists. And it was a very moving ceremony and wonderful to see all the people. And then in the evening, the co-op that I helped, housing co-op that I helped found 50 years ago, had its 50th anniversary celebration. So that was quite wonderful.
Hi, I'm Karen Frank. I'm from Eustis, Florida, and I'm here with a friend visiting, Karen Woolhouse, who has been showing us the beauty of Nova Scotia and Halifax, and I just wanted to say hello and thank you for welcoming us.
Welcome. Did you want to place a stone?
See.
I just wanted to say I see my surgeon this week, and that hopefully things will go well, and I will not have to wear a boot or use a walker again. That's on the 11th, Thursday the 11th. So in the meantime, I'm still trying to figure out about transportation to get to places for appointments, and it's difficult. I did my first grocery trip by myself with a cart. I took a cart from my building. I went there and I loaded up on groceries and I took them home. That was a big event for me.
I'll place a stone for that, C, and for your quick recovery. It's a really big, I know, we've got lots of big stones here.
I will do a stone for Lynn Sabarin. Lynn was a DRE for ran the kids program for many years in Vancouver, the Vancouver Unitarians. Beloved by many people have spoken about how she was a mentor to them. And unfortunately, shortly after retiring, she died this summer, unexpectedly.
And I'll place one more stone for everything that remains unspoken in our hearts. Got my eye on this giant one here. And we now have a musical meditation by the After Choir, and the song is called Building Community.
did want to just make a quick announcement that I had a chance to see Franklin and Glenda just about 10 days ago, and they're still trucking along. So. Our church has been gathering for years, singing sweet songs into each other's ears, guided by reason and powered by soul, seeking that spiritual goal, building community, leaving a legacy, sharing what's found to be true. Community, leaving a legacy, painting tomorrow's skies blue. Each year we meet in the fall, enriching our vision, a commitment from each and all, giving and sharing a faith serenade, building on the foundation our forebears laid. Building community, leaving a legacy, sharing what's found to be true. Building community, leaving a legacy, painting tomorrow's skies blue. Now we folks are gathering again, the pickers, the grinners, the women and men, counting our blessings and passing them on, knowing it will continue when we are all gone. Building community, leaving a legacy, sharing what's found to be true. Building community, leaving a legacy, painting tomorrow's skies blue. We are building community, leaving a legacy, raising all boats in the tide. Building community, leaving a legacy, won't you grab an oar for this ride?
Thank you for that. It's now time for our offering. The work of this community is made possible by donations of time, talent, and money. Thank you for however you give, and we trust that you will give however much is right for you. Most donate by monthly e-transfer, and we also pass the basket. Today the basket goes to our Today the basket goes to our operating fund. Whatever your situation, thank you for being part of this community.
Oh, thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit for our offertory hymn, which is number 1051 in the teal hymnal, We Are. The lyrics are also going to be up on the screens.
And if you're not familiar with it and you want a hymnal, I've got some here.
For each child that's born,
journey. Or a work.
How was your summer?
Yeah, great summer, thank you. How was yours?
Right after the cast.
Right, yeah. Well, let's see how you feel about that after my story to start this reflection. So it's another personal story. I don't normally do this, but here we go. 2 summers ago, Tanya and my first summer in Oregon, where we were right before coming here. So we want to make the most of the summer. Unfortunately, we have already made some good friends. I actually need your help with this story. When I go like this, would you say, fortunately? Fortunately. Okay, try that again like you mean it.
Fortunately.
All right, okay. And when I go like this, would you say, unfortunately?
Unfortunately.
All right, great, fabulous. So it's 2 years ago, Tanya and my first summer in Oregon.
Fortunately.
We had already made some good friends.
Unfortunately.
These friends only do one thing every weekend in the summer. They float down the Clackamas River.
Fortunately.
We are gung-ho to give it a try. So we buy these big tubes, we fill them with air, we walk them to the river.
Unfortunately.
My feet immediately feel frozen. And when I sit back in the tube, my behind is in the water and also feels frozen.
Fortunately.
It is a hot day and the cold water turns out to be just right. At the start, the river is very shallow and we slide across rocks.
Unfortunately.
One of the tubes starts leaking.
Fortunately.
We have an extra tube. So we float down the river for hours. We enjoy the company of our friends. We have snacks out of the snack tube. We watch the wind in the trees and not a care in the world. And then we hear foul language. A man in a tube is caught on tree branches on the side of the river.
Unfortunately.
His friends have floated on without noticing.
It's your cue.
Yeah, my spotty sense is that he has low self-esteem and he actually feels abandoned.
Fortunately.
He gets free just as we get to him, and we chat for a bit as we float down the river. Just as we stop for a stretch break, the man jumps out of his tube and stands waist deep in the water. More foul language, agitated gestures.
Unfortunately.
He has dropped his phone in the river. It is in a bright red waterproof bag.
Unfortunately.
It is nowhere to be seen. The current is strong. There's a bit of white water. So he walks around in circles looking for the phone, gesturing wildly with no luck. It's gone, says Tanya. You need to accept that it's gone. A minute or two more of foul language mixed with a growing resignation, and then he gets back on his tube, phoneless, and floats down the river, hoping somehow to catch his friends because he has no other way to contact them. Our group is on a stretch break on shore, so I move around a bit, and when I come back to the river in a slightly different spot, I look towards the middle of the river.
Fortunately.
I see a red spot under the water. It is unbelievable luck. With the sun right behind me, there's less glare, and there's a break in the white water, so I can see the pouch 50 feet away, 3 feet underwater. So I wade in, I reach down for the phone, struggling against the currents. I feel it caught in the rocks. I lift it up, and as it breaks the surface, I hear music playing. The phone still works, fortunately. But unfortunately, by this time the man is way down the river. It looks like his friends have waited for him, and he stopped when he got to them. So I hold up the phone like Judd Nelson at the end of the Breakfast Club. And I yell at the top of my lungs, "Hey!" No response. Fortunately. I used to be a cheerleader, so I shift my voice up a notch. "Hey!" I wave the pouch, he sees me and hears me, and I would be happy to float down the river to give him the phone, but he bounds up along the rocky shoreline. Fortunately. It is a happy ending. He had a scare, but found out that strangers cared about him, and his friends waited for him all along. So fortunately, unfortunately is an improv theater game, and it's also how life goes sometimes. Life has its ups and its downs. Sometimes there are clouds, sometimes, not always, but sometimes those clouds have silver linings. Sometimes your summer feels like floating down a river, sometimes it doesn't. So we come together today bringing all that has happened to each of us this summer. Perhaps your ups and downs were physical or emotional or spiritual or relational. Many of our summers have been a mix of some or all of these. There was an invitation to bring water today from home or somewhere meaningful for you, to bring together and mix in our water ceremony. And we do have extra if you need it. Those on Zoom, if you don't have water, you might pour yourself a glass when you have a moment. Let's just take a few moments to reflect in shared silence on the flow of recent months, giving thought to the meaning or the memories contained in the water that we bring together. So perhaps for you, this is water of grief and sadness. Perhaps it's water of transition and change, water of rest and renewal, water of happiness and joy, water of vision and hope. So what meaning do you give to your water? Kid sounds are always welcome. I understand if you're having difficulty hearing ever, let me know, but I love kid sounds in this building. In the water ceremony, you add your water to the communal bowl and say what meaning the water has for you. You can also add your water in silence. And again, if you need water, we have some right up here, so just come up. If you were on Zoom, raise your hand to speak, and you might hold your water and imagine it coming together with the common water. As we begin our ritual, we like to pour water from last year's ceremony, and I'm going to say that last year's water, because of a refrigerator clear out, might have ended up in the larger Halifax water system. So I'm going to take some, there's at least one atom from that, if you want to get nerdy, and I'm going to pour some in to keep the tradition going. So if you like, I invite you now to come up when you're ready and add your water to the common bowl.
I'll go. I'm going to do something a little bit different. For 2 months, I was inside, and I rarely got out. Just 2 appointments, and that was it. But I want to put water in for my first shower after I took my cast off after 2 months, which was lovely, and it still is.
maybe we'll speak first so people can see us.
Speak first? Okay. So I don't have my own water collected because I don't really have any way to get the water. But my overarching summer has been spent in a new apartment, and I found a secret space, probably not so secret, but I only recently found it, at the end of DeWolf Park in Bedford, where I've recently moved, where there's a beautiful parking lot overlooking the basin, and it's a boat launch, but there's a long wharf with a, sorry, Riley. There's a long wharf with benches, and it's just a really nice place to go and have a really quick walk and do a coffee. So that's my overarching water of joy for the summer. When it rained a few weeks ago, the big rain that we had, it was a mix of joy because, well, we all felt the joy of that rain. But that time that it rained, I was meeting a friend, and I have a friend from university that I haven't seen for over 40 years, and she's in Halifax having radiation treatment. So we were both overjoyed by the rain, although we got soaked going out to eat. But that joy is sort of marred a little bit by the reason she's in Halifax. And then the third one is mixed like that too, and it's the water of the Bay of Fundy. And I've just gotten back from my annual visit to my aunt in Grand Manan, and she's 91, and she's a little bit frailer every time I see her. So there's that.
It's been a joy this summer to have this glorious weather day after day after day. And I've really made a point of trying to get outside every day that we had this fabulous weather. That's been wonderful. And I'm so happy to be finishing the summer with the joy of a visit from my two good friends from the Florida congregation. So.
I did not bring water from Mississauga in Ontario, but I think the virtual water represents a period of transition in my congregation. Our interim minister, Reverend Rita Capizzi, will be finishing up her ministry, and despite it being summer, it's been a bit busy period because we've been making arrangements for our new minister, D.L. Heffler, to start in January.
So I have very exotically brought water all the way from the Halifax municipal water system. But it is water from the sink in my new apartment. As some of you know, we sold our former house this summer, and I have moved all the way across the city, not that far, but that place is finally starting to look like and feel like a home. Also, this is the same water that I use to water the strawberries that I'm growing on my windowsill. So.
This is water from my house, and it represents joy and change.
Good morning. Got my son's water bottle here. This is just tap water. I I guess my word is connection and reconnection. So we had a great summer of connecting with family. And Lewin just started school a couple days ago. So connection at the end of the day is so much more important. Because those are long days for him. So I'm going to squirt a little bit of his water in here.
So I will borrow some of the water. And this, for me, I was driving along listening to CBC as I do, and someone pointed out that there's no new water in the world, and so the water that you have has been around, and you've probably passed by those molecules repeatedly through people, through animals, through everything. And so I guess I'm hoping that when my son deploys to the Baltic sometime in the coming year, that water will carry him safely home.
We'll do Marilyn and then Leslie.
I just wanted to add some water in thinking about the drought that we've been dealing with this summer that's fried the clover in the front yard and, you know, all of our forests and everything. And let's hope that that water that keeps circulating comes back soon.
Leslie.
I took this water from our rain barrel. So this is the gift of rain that we so much appreciate. And the highlight of our summer has been spending time with our grandsons for 2 weeks in Yellowknife, most of which was spent on the water going fishing. So it's a really joyful celebration of our grandchildren and the experience with them. Thank you.
Just gratitude, just one word.
This is tap water, but it represents two bodies of water. We're very fortunate to have a cottage on a small lake near New Ross. And so we spent most of the summer there, which was really a gorgeous place to be in all the hot weather. And my wife has incredible gardens that she's been building for years and years and years, and they were glorious all summer long, but she was very aware of the drought. We had to pump water up from the lake because our well went dry. We smelled smoke occasionally. And so the effects of climate change were very ever present. And the other body of water is the Northumberland Strait, where friends gather every year. And towards the end of August, we gathered and swam in the strait and had a wonderful, wonderful reunion with all our friends.
I don't really like doing this publicly, but this is water we took to Rizzers Provincial Park back and forth. I don't know why it went back and forth, but we go there every summer. And so it's transition before the beginning of the school year, and it's relaxation because I love it there.
So I'm adding some water to the communal water. Water always represents flow for me, strength and transition that comes with that. And I particularly, at the moment, I'm reflecting on the effect that water has on rock, and that change in the shape of rock and the strength that water has. I also had the good fortune of being in the Rockies this summer and having a spectacular flight over the Rockies where I was able to see the glaciers and the rivers and these vibrant turquoise blue lakes and the rivers that flow from that and the rivers that flow throughout the country from these central points from the Continental Divide and the sense of connection that comes with that too.
I'm going to pretend I had the forethought to bring some water from my trip yesterday to Heartland Point in Eastern Passage. I had a really nice encounter with a Cooper's hawk. That was really neat. So pretending the water's from there.
And I'll do one final ad for all the water that remains in your heart, so to speak. Our water is together. This year, may we feel the pull of the river drawing us toward the life we want for each of us, for all of us together, for everyone in the world. Now please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn. It is 1064 in the Teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home, 1064. Please be seated. We are all riding the waves, each of us on a separate journey and together on our common journey. Each of us with a common thread deep down guiding our way. As we go through life this week, may we consciously orient ourselves to the life we imagine. May we have the courage to really live. There is coffee available in the social hall. Our service is over. Thank you so much, Laura Bain, today for being service assistant. And everyone go in peace.